Hello, hello, hello. Here we are, another live. How's everybody doing today? What do you want to talk about? Welcome in, everyone. My name is Tim. I bring you villages related content. All right. And it seems to be working. Live stream's working. Happy Sunday night to you, everyone. How y'all doing? What do you want to talk about? Well, let's look at the map. Looks like we have some new patio villas right here. Look at the patio villas nestled up next to the Florida Turnpike. I believe this is going to be a courtyard villa neighborhood in this corner as well. So you will have some opportunities for patio villas and courtyard villas. And the good thing is that these neighborhoods are separated from the turnpike by a golf course. So that should help you. Uh, is anybody interested in living in this corner of Eden Field? You have close access to Sawgrass Grove. Is Sawgrass Grove tempting enough for you? That's the question. You you are looking live. Am I live? Oh boy. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Something's not right. I don't know what. Something's going on with my chat box. Why can't I highlight chats? Can you hear me? I think you can. Live from Southeast Asia, favorite YouTuber. Hello, Craig. How are you? Why is my chat box not working? Very strange. I can't display the chats up on the screen. Why is that? Why is Let's try it again. Weird. Uh-oh. Show on screen. All right, let's show it on the screen. We're just going to show it on the screen because I can't highlight them. Oh, no, I can. Wow. Oh, there we go. Something's goofed up with the software again. Sound and video are good. Thank you, Central. Wow. Corporation of Applet. That's a long YouTube handle. You know it's early in the morning. Don't make me say a word like that. So I'm glad everybody's there. I think we have the technical difficulties. It's every time I go live, there's technical difficulties. You have a lot of different softwares trying to integrate with each other, and then they never work. And then you have weak internet access. So, what's new in the villages this week besides the courtyard villas? Raise your hand if you're going to buy a a patio villa in the Olivia Villa neighborhood. Raise your hand. And then there's going to be courtyard villas here. Raise your hand if you want to buy a courtyard villa right there. You will have you will be able to see all the action coming in on Bexley Trail. You'll be able to see all of the action on the Florida Turnpike. Uh, this is going to be a popular corner to be in. The Prophet, we are heading down to the. Are you in the villages yet, Prophet? Or are you in New Jersey or up north somewhere? Oh, we are heading down the San Juan. I need to control my turkey intake since I'm driving half the time. So you're still, what is that, like 8 hour drive? When I drove from Wisconsin, it was 21 hours. So don't complain to me if you're driving 8 hours from New Jersey. I had to drive 21 hours from Wisconsin. Is no joke. Try. Drove through those. Oh, sorry. Drove through those patio villas. They are not showing the 3 2-car garage models online yet. So they're not still, again, that goes back to the philosophy. They usually will sell some of the least popular uh, neighborhoods and locations and model types first, and then all the good ones they'll put in there last. So they do have 2-car garage Garnet models. Yeah, they're not online. Let's take a look. I couldn't find them. They are not online. So where could they be? They could be, they're sold yet. Oh, here's a Gar. Yeah, I looked for all 2-car. I couldn't find any. So, but most of these have been sold. There's only a couple of vacant ones. Right against the golf course, there's some open ones that haven't been sold. So it looks like there's like 8 or so homes that are not even listed for sale, according to the map. And they're all going to be along this area or on the corner as you enter the neighborhood. And you know my philosophy. You don't want to be at the beginning of the neighborhood. You want to be at the end of the neighborhood. So I don't see any 2-car garage homes for sale. They've all been sold. Here's your Topaz, sold. Here is your Opal, another Opal. Anything with a 2-car garage sells fast. 16 hours would be a pretty good scenario from Wilmington. 16 hours? Yeah, that's starting to get chunky. Are you going to do one night? I did one night. The halfway point between Wisconsin and Florida is Nashville, Tennessee. So I drove and I stayed in Nashville and then got up and then drove through Atlanta on to Florida. Someone may have paid cash for them. They are the lots closest to the entrance. Yeah, they could be. You would think they'd be listed as pending if they paid cash. Well, maybe not. Yeah, I would think they still would be listed as pending if they paid cash, because it takes, I don't know, 30 days to close, right? Doesn't it? They're going to need to get, maybe they don't need an appraisal. What do they need? It's still going to take a while to process the closing paperwork, right? Maybe. Let me know if they paid cash. Would you still see a yellow dot, or would they just stay that way? That's a good question. I'm not sure. They are building a bunch of garden villas in the patio villa neighborhood next to those patios. Yeah, they're going to be courtyard villas in here. So these are going to be garden courtyard villas. Are they all garden, or are they a mix of courtyard villas and garden villas? Yeah, this is a courtyard villa neighborhood, and the garden villas are, they say luxury courtyard villas, but it'd be interesting to see if it's a mix or not. And mix. Okay, so they're going to have courtyard villas and garden villas mixed together. That's interesting, because the courtyard, or the garden villa, is supposed to be a luxury courtyard villa. And you know what the rule of the real estate is, right? You never want to buy the most expensive home in the neighborhood. You want to buy the least expensive home in the neighborhood, because your values will appreciate more. If you buy the expensive home in the neighborhood, it can only depreciate the value more towards the back along Bexley. So in here, you're going to have garden villas. Are all the garden villas together, or are they kind of like every other house is a garden villa, or all the garden villas kind of in one location, one area of the neighborhood? Like they have a small neighborhood within a neighborhood. I'd be interested to see that, know that. Or are they kind of just scattered in between the courtyards? I didn't count, but must have been 8 to 10, really. Are they all like next to each other, or are they scattered throughout the neighborhood? Because I would be wary about buying all along the back side all together. That's interesting. So it's like they have a neighborhood within a neighborhood. That's interesting. That's unique. That's something that I don't think's ever happened before. So the Villages is changing their uh, neighborhood layout, if it were. If they are starting to commingle Courtyards and Isabella, that's unique. It makes me hesitate to buy a luxury Courtyard villa in a Courtyard villa neighborhood. Do you know what I mean? What do you think about that? Would you buy a luxury Courtyard villa in a Courtyard villa neighborhood? Yeah, they are segregated. That's interesting. That's new. I think that's the very first that you'd see of that. Let me know if that's what you think. At least one had a pool. Probably the one in the corner. Usually they put the pools on the dead end streets. So maybe in this corner here, maybe in this corner here or this corner here, they probably have a pool. Imagine having a pool and the back of your home is right on going to be on what I would consider this a busy roundabout, McNeil and Bexley. This is going to be busy. Come on, people. This is going to be busy going over the turnpike into Sawgrass, this intersection someday. That is going to be super busy. Super busy. What do you think about that? In our case, I hope it's not true. We paid a premium for the lot. Do you think that premium is lost once you buy a property? Ah, that's a good question. We could sit here and debate that forever. People like corner lots. So you will sell your home faster if it's on a corner lot. I don't know if you're going to recover all the premium that the Villages is asking, though. Apparently, people are buying the home and turning it around in a year and selling it for a profit. So I would assume you're going to recover it. But the market's changing. Who knows? A year from now, you don't know. But historically, toward Shoop Loop. Yeah, I would agree. I would think they are premium lots, corner lots. People want view lots. People want retention ponds. They want golf course views. They want corner lots. I would agree with Craig. I would say that they're holding their value. And I think part of the reason they hold their value is because so many of these interior lots are so small. These interior lots are small. So people don't want to be on an interior lot. And I can vouch for that. My patio villa is not on an interior lot. Well, it's adjacent to a corner lot, so it's kind of like a corner lot. And a patio villa on an interior lot, you feel cramped. So I would say that the premium lots, let's zero in. Should we make an example out of your house again? I can't even drill in on the dot. You have no more dot there. I would drill in and we would analyze that. How could I filter it? Can I filter homes sold? Can't. They took your home off the map. But here, let's look at this veranda home. Here's a Mason on a corner lot. People still like corner lots. And so do I, to be honest with you. So here is a veranda home on a corner lot, but you don't get it's kind of interesting because your veranda home has walls around it. So do you get the effect of the corner lot? The corner lot is so it gives you an open space. But if I remember your house, it had a huge backyard. It had a huge yard. So this is a corner lot. I think they make the backyards larger on the corner lot homes, even if it's a veranda or a courtyard villa. Why am I? Can you see this? Yeah, you can see this. Yeah, you can see it. Why do they have so many? 53 pictures? You got to be kidding me. Why do you need 53 pictures? The old-fashioned picture method, huh? They do make videos though. So here, so this is a corner lot. So if you're paying a premium for a corner lot and you have an enclosed yard, and this does not appear to be any bigger than an interior lot, why would you pay the premium for the corner lot? That's the question I would have. This home is on a corner lot. It's a veranda home, but it has a wall, but you're not really getting the benefit of the corner lot. But I think the prophet did get a benefit, because if I remember the pictures of his home, was the backyard was huge. So here's a corner lot, but you're fencing yourself in. It kind of like defeats the purpose of having a corner lot. Do you know what I mean? Let me know what you think. Yeah, I would agree. But I think the only way you benefit on a courtyard villa or a veranda home is if they extend the walls to match the size of the lot. I think that's the point. Yeah. But if they don't extend the walls to match the size of the lot, then why pay the premium? Because you're still staring at a wall. So that is your veranda home. So is this side yard bigger because it's on a corner lot? It might be. I don't know. Hard to tell. I don't know. Again, it's hard to tell. These are fisheye photos. So out here, if you're, walking the dog, it's kind of nice to have the corner lot. But if you're doing 90% of your living in the back of the home, you're staring at a wall, why pay the premium for the corner lot? Unless they make the walls larger and wider than an interior. Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the interior house. Now you got me thinking. So let's look at the house right next to it, the Hillsdale. Let's see what the walls look like here. Well, this one doesn't look much different. Let's see if you're picking up space with the walls. "39 pictures on this one." So I'm just kind of randomly. So that's kind of interesting. And thanks for joining. My name is Tim, for those new to the channel. I appreciate it. There we go. So this wall looks actually bigger than the other house that we saw that was on the corner lot. It looks like you have more space, but it's hard to tell. It's a fisheye picture. The side yard. So here, this is the other home. There was a side yard like 3 feet, and this side yard butts up against the house. So there, I think, is your difference of the corner lot. So on the corner lot home, you had space on both sides, and on this interior one, you have space only on one side. So here you have adequate space on the interior lot, but there on this side, you don't. So there's your difference. So you're picking up maybe 2 or 3 feet on this side of yard space. Is that worth the premium? Whatever the premium is, what do you think the premium is? What do you think the difference was in premium? So there you have it. Our backyard is way bigger than that, Mason. It's about 30. Yes. So then it's worth paying the premium for the lot, because people like big yards. Because there's so many homes in the villages that are squoze in on a small interior lot. And people like me, they want their peace and quiet, and they want their space like they had in the north. That's why corner lots sell fast and view sites. Corner lots sell faster than an interior site. Yeah. Or your house isn't a fence for your neighbor, right? And that's what it is. 20 or 30K. 20 or 30K. I could see spending 20 or 30K if you have a lot like like Prophet's Lot. It's huge. But if you're only gaining a foot or two on one side, I'm not spending 20 or 30K for the corner lot. If I'm looking at a courtyard villa or a veranda home. Now, if I'm looking at a designer home, I probably would. Because a designer home, it just feels spacious when you're sitting in a lanai on a corner lot. You don't have somebody like right in front of you. That's what I think. But again, you got to go down there, boots on the ground. You have to figure it out for yourself. All I know is that the pictures on the website make the yards look bigger and the lanais look further away than what they really are. I know when I was looking at a home in St. Catherine, a designer home in the St. Catherine area, there was a specific part of the neighborhood in St. Catherine where the lanais were so close to each other. It's like you could reach out of your lanai and touch your neighbor's lanai. And those homes didn't sell. They sold really slowly. And that's why when people are telling me, well, the Villages makes all their lot sizes the same, I don't think so. Because in St. Catherine, there was a neighborhood of homes that did not sell. They were new designer homes, and the lanais were super, super tight, close to each other. This is St. Catherine here. And if I remember right, where was I? I was actually in Bradford, right? Bradford, maybe? I think it was in Bradford. Where are we? We're looking at Bradford. I think this is Bradford. Isn't this Bradford? Yes. I was looking at a home in Bradford, and there was a neighborhood that had tiny lots. I think they were right in here. Look at the size of these designer home lots right along the street compared to the other homes. These neighborhoods had kissing lanais, and you could hear your neighbor in the back of you breathing, and they did not have fences. And some of these designer homes, it took forever to sell them. I went down there and I was going to pick up a cheap designer home because they discounted them. So I went down there, I drove there, and I went into the open home. In the back of the home, it was a lanai, and I couldn't believe how close the neighbor's lanai was. And it was a kissing lanai. And this is why I say that the Villages really doesn't have standardized sizes on their lots. They essentially designed the neighborhood based on the amount of real estate they have, based on the amount of buildable square acreage they have, and the profitability that they can pull out of that neighborhood by selling the different home types. And if you just look at this map. Yeah, you can see it. I'm watching my TV. You can see that these designer home sites are tiny, and the lanais are just next to each other. That's why I keep stressing, walk around. This is the Village of Bradford, by the way. Walk around. If you're looking at designer homes, you need to walk, boots on the ground, walk those neighborhoods. And when people are asking me, are they building the home sites smaller now in the Eastport area? Those home sites are much better and nicer than these home sites in Bradford, no doubt in my mind. In my opinion, this neighborhood in Bradford is one of the worst designer home neighborhoods that you can live in, just because of the lots are tiny, the lanais are just touching each other. And I didn't get that feeling when I walked through these neighborhoods near Eastport. Uh, they're not nearly as close as those that were in Bradford. If you don't believe me, drive through here. Take your car and drive down the street. This Dre Drive, I think that's where it is. Just drive through there and look. And you can't get the only way you get appreciated, if there's an open house, go there and look at an open house. Those lanais, those yards, and those are designer homes. They're tiny. And they're not making them that tiny in the south, in near Eastport. Saginaw and Jackson's require larger lots. Yes. Need a bigger lot. That's why you don't see many of them. Probably, yes. Yeah. So when the Villages designs a neighborhood, they're looking at a patch of land and they're looking at all the wetlands around it and they're going to say, I want to put in a certain number of homes in this new neighborhood. And then they try to orient the streets to maximize their profits. So we're going to put a patio villa in down in the neighborhood here, courtyard over there. We might not put that type of neighborhood in over there. But I don't think these lot sizes are standard. It's all over the map. That's the point I'm trying to make. So, and I see that they're putting the walls in more so here now in the south, especially in the Oak Hollow area. I think they started putting more walls in, maybe in the Well Point. I don't think they were putting walls in Shady Brook though, because you still have a lot of discounted homes in this Norman Run area. Tight, tiny. This kind of neighborhood here almost reminds me of, here we are in Shady Brook, almost reminds me of those in Bradford. They're really close to each other, but they're still not as bad as Bradford. Again, kissing Lanai, and they are just back of each other. I don't know why they didn't put a wall in. I think in the future, you're going to see the Villages putting walls in, either composite or concrete walls, if they're directly kissing. But if they're offset just a little bit, the Village is going to say, well, it's an offset. It's not technically a kissing lanai, so we're not putting the wall in. So that's, I think, how they're going to get around it. But I can't believe, I still have yet to see a neighborhood as bad as those in Bradford. Worst designer home neighborhood I've ever seen is in the Village of Bradford. And the ones in near Eastport don't even come close. Some of them are worse than others, but they're still not as bad as Bradford. They're bad. They're really bad. So, yes, I think you're going to continue because they don't want to have another Bradford incident or St. Catherine incident where you have giant blocks of homes and neighborhoods that people don't want to buy because the lanais are so close to each other. The Villages is very frugal with designing neighborhoods. So if they're adding walls to some neighborhoods, they're going to try to reduce costs in other ways. And I think one of the ways they're reducing costs is they're putting a lot more roads in that don't have curb and gutter. I think they're saving a ton of money with those veranda home neighborhoods that don't need curb and gutter. I'm seeing a lot less curb and gutter near Eastport than in the north. Yes, and that's how they maximize profits, is just more view sites. And that's another reason they're putting a lot more water in the south. Not only does the geography of the south dictate that there's more water in the Eastport area, but they are looking for ways to add water so they can sell their lots, their sites at a premium. And they're even now selling lots that are on a utility easement power line, and they're calling them a view site, and they're asking premiums. Look at this. Hudson, this is the Well Point Verandas West. I can't believe they still have a home for sale in Water's Edge. I mean, Water's Edge Verandas West. I remember talking about Water's Edge Verandas West over a year ago when I was walking around down here. I did a video on the Water's Edge Verandas East neighborhood. And I was looking at the Michael Villas when Eastport first started getting constructed. And then I was looking here. It's like, this neighborhood's been around a long time and you still have a new home for sale in it. $599.5. Why is nobody buying it? Those power lines are still not that bad. To me, it's a nothing burger. Those power lines are not nearly as obnoxious as what you find in the St. Catherine area. Those, to me, if you're looking for a veranda home with a view, I would consider this one. Those power lines, to me, nothing. And this one does not have a power pole by the Lanai. The home that just, or does it? Or is this the one? Yeah, it does. This is the one with the power pole. That's why it's not selling. You're in your Lanai and you're looking at a utility pole. I can't believe they designed the neighborhood like that. I just cannot believe they did that. I would have expected the villages to call the Seco Energy and tell them to move the pole to between, at least put the pole between the houses. I can't believe they didn't do that. Weird. Now I know why this one's not selling, because, whoops, because they have a power pole. Oh, maybe not. Show me the pole. No, this one does not have the pole. The house next to it had a pole in the Lanai looking out. Yeah, I don't think this one has a pole. The wires above here don't scare me at all. If you're interested in veranda home, wait for this to get discounted again and then buy it. Final answer. What do you think? You can get a decent home. But then again, you might not be able to sell it again because people are sensitive about power poles. I talked to a lot of real estate agents, especially on the pre-owned homes when I used to do the pre-owned home videos. They like corner lots. They don't like south or west facing lanais. I'm just telling you what I heard by real estate agents. They don't want south or west facing lanais. They don't want power lines, and they don't want to be backed up to a busy road. If you have a home that has any of those uh, qualifications, it's going to take you longer to sell it. And I talked to many, many real estate agents, MLS real estate agents, not VLS, and they tell me the south-facing lanais, the west-facing lanais, much harder to sell. Much harder to sell if the back of your home is on a busy street. Much harder to sell if you're near power lines. If you don't have those issues, your house will sell fairly easy. And corner lots sell faster. I shot a video the day before we closed when you're this too and saying it on person. You can hear her saying in the video, this is the large yard she's never seen in a veranda. So there you go. And that's what you want. You want something that's different and unique on the positive side. You don't want something different and unique on the negative side where you have a power pole sticking out your lanai. Yeah, the one with the pole closed. Why? Why would you buy the one with the pole? I could see buying the one without the pole. And I think my gut's telling me that might get discounted again because that's been on the market forever. And I don't think it's that bad. I really don't think it's that bad. If I was going to buy one or the other, I would have bought the one without the pole. This one. Let's check it out. You got a 21-foot, 2-inch garage. Yeah, it's okay. You've got a giant lanai without a telephone pole. So how much? This is a Hudson, $599.5 for a Hudson. So if you're looking at a Hudson, do you have a Hudson in this neighborhood next to the Prophet? Where's a Hudson? Monroe, Ottawa. Do you have a Hudson up here? Where's a Hudson? 466. There's your Hudson in the Wellpoint Veranda South for 466. And then you have the Hudson in Water's Edge near the power lines for $599. So you're looking at $130,000 more. I wouldn't pay the $130,000 for the power pole or near the power lines. I'd probably buy this interior site. Hudson. I think it's a big premium. So could you go to the villages and say, hey, come on, you're asking 130,000 for the premium lot in Water's Edge underneath the power lines? I'll give you 50,000 for it instead of the 130,000. So you add the 460, so you're paying like 520,000 for the one in Water's Edge. Can you do that? Would the villages do that? Or are they just going to thumb their nose at you and tell you to take a hike? So if they're really interested in selling this house right here, 520,000, would anybody buy it for 520? Some people don't care. Still a nice view. Yeah, some people do. You know, some people do. That's true. Leave it on the market long enough. Yeah, I guess if you're a billionaire, you can just, leave some of your inventory sit in a while. You can afford to leave it sit, right? Rather than take a big haircut. There's no need to push it because you're a billionaire. You're probably right. Probably right on that one. But it's just interesting to see. The numbers don't lie because I'm an accountant kind of guy. And the numbers never lie. Any company I worked in, all you have to do is look at the financial statements and the numbers don't lie. You can tell a big story about a company just about the numbers. And you can tell the story about these homes just with the numbers. That's why I'm looking at the bonds. I'm looking at list prices. The numbers don't lie. And when are these homes ever going to sell? Are they going to ever sell this? I have a feeling this is going to be like another Bradford neighborhood. These homes are not going to sell. And they are starting to discount these. Here's one discounted, 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 not discounted. I would think they've been discounting these more aggressively. Not much. I'm surprised they're not discounting these more. This is interesting. The Villages is interesting. Interesting. Very interesting. The first week in August, you showed us a discounted Monroe near the Oak Hollow post office, which was the only other property we sent a friend who lives there to investigate. That's when we learned how to spot a discounted new home. Interesting. Okay. We almost bought it. Glad we waited. Yeah. Waiting is always almost always better. Although I lost out on a really, really nice designer home in Chitty Chatty, or was it Bradford? Let's go back and reminisce about my screw ups in Bradford, Chitty Chatty area. Was it Bradford or was it Chitty Chatty? It was gonna be in Bradford. It was a designer home. I was looking at patio villas here. This is kind of a nice neighborhood. But then there was a designer home located right, I think here in Bradford, somewhere along here. Notice the direction of the lanai. I was looking at it. I almost bought it. Somewhere in here. Might have been this one right here. Northeast facing lanai in Bradford, close to the swimming pool right there. I kind of liked it because it was over near this nature preserve and it would be quiet. Again, quiet. And when I was looking at homes in Bradford right here, I was still concerned about turnpike noise. And I could hear the turnpike when I was stood in Bradford. I could still hear it. But that's not the reason I didn't buy the house. It was a discounted designer home. I thought Bradford was was going to be a quiet village. That's why I was interested in it. But I had a little bit of concern about the turnpike. And you can see how far Bradford is from the turnpike. And I was still concerned about turnpike noise. And I could hear the turnpike. Faintly, I could hear it but not bad. It wouldn't have dissuaded me. But then I started looking in St. Catherine over here, and I could really hear the turnpike, much more so. So my screw up was not buying this designer home, 3-bed, 2-bath. I forgot what model it was. Northeast facing Lanai in Bradford, quiet community. It was discounted. It was one of the last homes they're going to sell. And it was, I think it was, I could have bought it for like, it was cheap, like $325,000 or something. It was really, really inexpensive. I think I wish I would have bought it, even though I don't like Bradford as a location because it's not near anything. It's not close enough to shopping for me. I would have to go way too far to go shopping. But that's what I was looking at. And then I found that neighborhood of designer homes with really close kissing lanais. Strolling down memory lane, I'm curious as to what the bonds will be in 16, if they will continue to trend down ever so slightly. That is going to be interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I would doubt if they're going to trend down, but I don't know. I think overall your maintenance assessment fees living in the southern part is going to go up. At least they're going to be higher than in the north because of they have a lot more water that they need to maintain. I don't know. I'll be interested to see what the interest rate will be. I think the interest rates might even be lower than 4.72% that you get in Well Point. That'll be interesting. Will the interest rates be lower? That is the question. What is this? Did you see the home recently that $3 million it was near pickleball courts? It would have been listed for 18. If it was 1.8, where was that home? Pre-owned home. Let's turn to pre-owned home on. $3 million. Let's do a filter of minimum of $2,500,000. I think one more zero, right? One more zero. Oh, there is one home. This one? Pending. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it. Let's go 1 million. You got a lot of $1 million homes. Look at this. Lots of $1 million homes in the villages. You got $1 million homes right here in Water's Edge. Well, you got that one. You've got $1 million home here in Shady Brook, a Niagara model. Is this the one? And then you've got this one, $1 million Isabella in Moultrie Creek. You got lots of money. And then look at these. Look at these. $1 million home, Bridgeport, right here. That's way too close to the turnpike for me. So is this one. This one, maybe not. You got $1 million home in Chitty Chatty, modified designer home. So you got some out there. Oh, it's on MLS. MLS. So what do you got here? Pre-owned, turn that off. New is on. Filter is clear. The filter. Why not? So what else is going on in the villages? Is Eastport open yet? Is Eastport open? It's pending. It's in the preserve. That's why. Is Eastport open? Does anybody know when Eastport's going to open? When are the live bands? When can I bring my dancing shoes to Eastport is the question. Will I be able to dance when I get back in March? Will I be able to shine my dancing shoes up and be dancing in Eastport? Eastport was crowded Saturday afternoon. Did they have a band? Are they playing bands? The the beer hut was open. I think I did see a YouTube video person. Somebody was wandering around. Who was it? Somebody was wandering around and the beer hut was open. No music yet. Yeah. Any idea when Eastport the band is going to play? Any clue? Are we looking? People have been congregating at Eastport nightly. What are they doing? Just kind of, sitting around the lake and watching the sunset? Is that what they're doing? Not a bad thing to do. You can bring your own boombox. They were bringing their own energy. That's right. Why not? Absolutely. You bring your own boombox and you dance over by the lake. Why not? Are there any restaurants open there? I thought there was one. I should put a poll on my YouTube channel. It's amazing. Should I put a poll on my YouTube channel? When will live music happen? Live music. Practicing, I guess. Prime Embers is open. All right, let's take a look at the Village's YouTube. Let's check it out. Let's check the Village's YouTube channel out. I'm going to share this tab. Oh, there you go. Prime and Embers is now open for business. Look at that. Prime and Ember is open for business. Let's play it. Let's check it out. Why not? I can't play the music, otherwise YouTube will scold me. Cheers. Oh, that's on the second floor. That's nice. That looks like a nice place to hang out. That reminds me of the steak joint at Lake Sumter. Forgot what it's called. FMK. Imagine that. It's another FMK restaurant group. It looks and feels a lot like the steak joint at Lake Sumter Landing. Only this looks nicer. Yeah, the food looks exactly like it. That looks yummy. Has anybody eaten there? When I get back, I'm going down. You know that. I'm going to go there. Makes me miss good American food. I'll tell you that right now. It's like, my God. I want good American food again. Oh, they have a first floor too. Yeah, they do that at the steak joint in Lake Sumter as well. They have a smoked old-fashioned drink at, what's it called? Hi there. The steakhouse is open. Yeah, that upstairs patio and bar is going to be awesome, man. That's where I'd be hanging. Yeah, Chop House, that's it. It reminds me a lot of the Chop House. Reviews are positive. My guess is that the food's going to taste identical to what you're going to get at the Chop House. Because I think the Chop House is also FMK. Pretty sure it is. Now, what's this? So we just saw that video. How nice is that? Wow, Tim, this edition made me cry. What? Oh. Just hang on. All right. We got an emergency alert that just came across my phone.
NDRRMC 10:09 a.m. 24 November 25. Orange rainfall warning sa Cebu, Eastern Samar, Balaran at Bohol. Nagbaban ang matinding pagulan. Kagbaha at pagahoing lupa.
Okay, we got it. So what it means is that there is another tropical depression heading my way, and there's an orange rainfall warning. Here in the Philippines, their storm warnings are actually rainfall warnings, and they categorize them in different colors, and it's orange today. So in the next 24 hours, we're going to get a lot of rain is what it means. We went to Cody's last time we were there. I enjoyed it very much. I also went to the restaurant center and had the salmon Wellington. Yum, yum. Yeah, it's actually a tropical depression. It's not going to be a hurricane. It's not even going to be a tropical storm. It's just a tropical depression. It's just going to give rain. It's not going to be bad this time. At least the winds. Lighthouse Grill. Did you like the Lighthouse? I know a lot of people go there, but I'm not a seafood guy, so I really don't go there often. Did you like it is the question. What else has the Villages got going on here? Santa's Helpers in action inside the wood patio villas. No taking reservations. They take reservations at the. Do you have to have a reservation? Or is it just because it's new? Orange Blossom Hills, Orange Blossom swinging the fun at Eastport. Fall celebration worth remembering. What else? Two Tastes coming to Middleton. Mainstream Boutique. Woodlands. Verandas North. Those are there. Eastport sneak peek. Let's check this out. Let's check out the Eastport sneak peek. Look at this. And I just want to let you know, everyone, when I saw this video of Eastport, it reminded me of Lake Sumter Landing. Eastport is like a clone of Lake Sumter Landing. It's a newer version. Even the street with the palms looks just like Lake Sumter Landing. When I saw this, I was like, oh my God, this is Lake Sumter Landing South. Love it. Love it, love it. Yes. You're gonna enjoy this town square. This is going to be the crown jewel town square. I don't think you're going to see any other town squares be as nice as this. This is what the Villages is going to hang their hat on, and they're going to point to this town square for many years to come. Because it's central. It's Central Parkway. It was okay. We've had the fish and chips, that it was good. Again, I don't think any of the restaurants in the Villages are that good. I think the Villages food and FMK, it's good food, it's okay food, but if I'm looking for really good food, I'm looking outside the Villages. The restaurants in the Villages are convenient. I think they're overpriced. I think the quality is inconsistent. I think they have, a lot of these restaurants have a lot of turnover in their staff. To me, and most of the the good restaurants are owned by FMK, and the food quality is all about the same. It's okay. It's good. It's at times it's hit and miss. A lot of it is service. Sometimes the service is good. Sometimes it's not. I look at the camera inside my garage, and the whole thing. And there, this is my golf cart, and I feel sorry for it because it looks so lonely. Oh, God. Is it an electric golf cart? If it is, don't you have to keep it charged? Do you have to have like a trickle charger on it? Even if it was gas, you might have to have a trickle charger on because those batteries run dead. That's the thing I found out living in the villages. My car batteries don't last very long. You park your car in these hot garages, and these garages are super hot, and the car batteries tend to die. In Wisconsin, my car battery would last 4 or 5 years, not an issue. In the villages, if I don't start my car and drive it often, the car battery will die in a few months. I bought a brand new car battery when I was there. Uh, I parked my car and I drove it a little bit, and I'd leave my car parked for a week or two, and I'll drive it. And like after 6 months, the car battery just died on me. I actually had to take it back. So watch your car and vehicle batteries in the villages, because when you park them in the hot garage, it drains the life out of your batteries. And if you're going to be gone for extended periods of time, put a trickle charger on your battery or have a neighbor watch it or something. Yeah, I don't know what you do in electric one, what you do. But just be aware that the heat inside the garages will take the life out of your car batteries. And when I'm gone for extended periods, if I'm gone for more than 2 weeks, if I'm not going to use my car for more than 2 weeks, I'll put a trickle charger on it, plug it in, and let the trickle charger go. Because after 2 weeks, that car battery will be dead inside the garage. That's how hot it is in Florida in your garages. It's really hot. And the other thing I would recommend is insulate your garage door. I don't know how much that's going to help, but I know the villagers also put vents in their garage doors to keep the airflow, because those garages get so hot. Oh my God. I couldn't believe how hot it got in those garages, and it drains the life of your battery out. So just be aware of that. That's the only thing I noticed that was a big change between Wisconsin and Florida, is the car batteries seem to burn out. And I think it's due to the heat. So that is your maintenance advice of the day. So what else do we have here? Abbott's Frozen Custard is coming to town. Downtown Middleton. Landon Villas. So we're back to this tab. So we're back to the home tab. Anything else you guys want to discuss? How long were we live here? We were live. How long? Hour and 2 minutes. So what do we have going on here? Kind of covered everything. Tell me, are these courtyard villas selling slower than normal or about normal? Something tells me that these homes should be selling faster. I always thought courtyard villas sold like that. So why aren't these selling faster? Here's a Charlotte for $385, north facing Lanai. You can go up here and get a Charlotte right here for $359 with a south facing Lanai. Why is the Charlotte not selling? I don't get it. The Raleigh sold, Charlotte didn't. It just seems to me the home sales are slower. I would expect all these homes, most of these, to be sold by now. They have a lot of inventory on the market. That's what I think. And then you have this Veranda home neighborhood. I keep forgetting about this neighborhood. Again, these Veranda homes really aren't selling. Let's count them. You've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23 homes sold. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 homes not sold. So, but these view sites are always going to sell. Seems like cottage homes are not selling. What's going on with the cottage homes? It's a bizarre market. I think it's a crazy market. Q3 sales numbers are very good for new homes. All the alarms people are ringing are false. It's a normal market. Is it really? It's a normal market. Is it just because the villages is developing so much and they have a couple of neighborhoods that just are not selling? It makes it look worse than what it is. Like this neighborhood here, not selling. I don't know. Where would I buy? If I bought a home today, what would I buy? If I'm buying a home today, what am I buying? Uh, let's say it's a designer home. I'm probably buying a designer home. If I don't like the discounted homes in Shady Brook, I'm buying a designer home where? Probably this one right here. But that's kind of far away from Eastport, isn't it? I'm actually concerned that this neighborhood here is a little bit far away from Eastport. Maybe I'm just getting spoiled because of Water's Edge is so close to Eastport. That's true. That would actually be true. You'll have a much cooler garage. Well, I'm trying to think what way my garage is. My garage is facing north. My garage is facing north. My garage is facing north. It's still hot. Popular models are still selling fast. Most the interior spec homes stay on the market for longer. You're spoiled, yes. I'm splitting frogs' hairs, probably. But right now, I think the best designer home neighborhood, and I'm even considering LaGrange. I would probably, if I'm looking at LaGrange, I'd be looking maybe in here. But there's no east-facing Lanai. So maybe in here. If I'm looking at designer homes, I think right in here would be good. Well, maybe unless you go east-facing Lanai, maybe this home right here. This home right here. I picked it out right here. It's not a view site, but you get a little bit peek of the pond. It's in the southwest. I don't want west. Change it. Where am I looking? Again, you got all view sites. Here. This would be a good spot right there. I think this is going to be quite straight. Designer home right here in LaGrange, close to Eastport. Final answer. All the view lots are sold and being built on. Really? I think that kind of tells you what the market is. Are the view sites getting sold? Yes. If the view sites stop selling, well, then you got definitely a soft market. You definitely have a soft market for sure. God. So I don't know. I'm still a discounted home kind of guy, though. Why am I that way? I'm a discounted home kind of guy, and I am going to go where to find a discounted home. I just don't like this neighborhood. This neighborhood here reminds me so much of Bradford. Homes, kissing lanais, small lots. That's where they're not selling. I think that's why this group of homes is not selling. Let's check this out. Designer homes. This is going to be similar to those Bradford homes with the tiny, close lots. And they're kissing. Has anybody negotiated with the villages to buy a new designer home and have them put up a fence? I thought somebody made a comment on one of my videos a while ago that they negotiated with the villages to put up a wall, but it was a composite wall or plastic wall. It was not a concrete wall. Does anybody know anything about that? I think they would put up a composite wall. I doubt if they're going to put up a concrete wall, though. because I think it's pretty easy to put up a composite plastic wall. They just drill a couple holes in the ground and they screw it together. And I thought somebody told me that once, that they did that. See, again, and these houses are going to be a lot closer. If you walk this neighborhood, you're going to feel like you're reaching out and touching your neighbor. That's why those houses are not selling. There's no doubt in my mind. They're kissing lanais and they are close to each other. Please forgive me if I said this last week. Sunset is about 50 minutes later in Florida compared to Delaware. Okay. Yes. Yes, it is. We enjoy longer daylight here as opposed to Chicago, where I'm from. Yeah. Yeah, longer daylight. I'm Wisconsin too, and the days are different in Florida for sure. In a matter of fact, sunset will always be later in Florida compared to Delaware, except for about 30-day period in June, where Delaware is about 4 minutes later. Really? Then again, I've been here for 27 years. Very good. So there you have that neighborhood. That's why they're not selling. There's kissing lanais. That's why these aren't selling. So this Norman Run Street is kind of busy. So now you're forced to look at a discounted home here. Let's see what this one looks like. It's an ugly robin egg blue. First thing I notice. Raise your hand if you like the ugly robin egg blue. Not that I'm trying to persuade you in color, but it is an ugly robin egg blue. Do you like that? Let's look at this lanai. Discounted. I'm thinking they're close together. All these pictures. There you go. Again, technically not a kissing lanai, but you're splitting frogs' hairs. Just put a little wall up here, a plastic wall there. Good to go. Why not? And then buy the house. Final answer. Who's this now? Vince. Picking a home in the right location is harder than woodpecker. What? Woodpecker lips. Yeah, it's there's a lot of choices in the villages, and what I noticed that there's always something that you don't like about every location. There's always something that I didn't like. It's usually minor, but anywhere I looked, it's like, oh, I would get down there and I was disappointed. The lanais are too close, or it's on the corner, or it's this, or it's that, and I ended up splitting frogs' hairs, and then I got frozen. And then when I was looking at buying a home in Bradford, I think I found a really good home, and I talked myself out of it because I didn't want wild boars to run across my yard or something, because I was thinking it's too close to the nature preserve. And there were wild boars running around the streets down there. Did you hear about that? So that's what I always found with the villages, is that I'd go down there and pick a house out. I'd look at it, and it's like, there's just something. St. Catherine, I'll show you what my experience in St. Catherine was. Let's go to the map. Let's go to St. Catharines. I was looking at St. Catherine and Bradford at the time, and I was looking at a home. Where was I? Where was I? Here? Somewhere in here. I think it was in here. Here. Right here. Do you know what this is? I was looking at homes in here. And you see this retention pond right here, and do you see this little thing? Almost looks like it's a pier. Can anybody tell me what that is? Tell me what that is. Tell me what that is. I'll give you a few minutes. I'm a glutton for punishment as I have the current temperature for both my home. Delaware is saying Saginaw is 72. Why do you have your the home that you're not in? Why do you leave it so cold? When I left my home and went to Wisconsin for weeks, I would set my temperature at 78 degrees. That's just enough to keep the humidity out of the home. Why would you keep it at 72 when you're not living in it? 72, I actually keep my home temperature in Florida at 74 degrees. I started at 72 because that's what I'm from Wisconsin. I like cold. But as I lived in the villages longer and got used to the heat longer, I started increasing my temperature just to because I was getting uncomfortable with cold and I wanted to save on electricity. And now I think 74 degrees internal temperature is actually comfortable. Once you get used to Florida and the heat, you won't need it at 72. And especially if it's vacant, if you can adjust it from your phone, I'll adjust it up to 78 degrees until you get there. The prison brings you concerns. Yeah, I don't know. If I found the right home in the right location, I don't think the prison would freak me out too much. I would rather not have it there. I'd rather pick a neighborhood that's far away from the prison because if there is an escape, I don't want to be the first neighborhood that they're going to escape into. I would just pick a neighborhood far away, far enough away, like on, far east of Marsh Bend Trail. And I think the homes in Ocala in the center of the map I showed you, I think that's far enough away. Lift station. Is that like a pump station? Something. All I know is it makes a lot of noise, Craig. And I was looking at a home there, and that thing was really noisy. That thing ran, it pumped water. I don't know what it was doing. It's like a pump house. Made a lot of noise. So I did not want to buy a home. And when I stood like on the street over here, I could hear it. When I stood on the street here, I could hear it. Over here, I could hear it. I could hear it here. And that thing was pumping. And it was pumping. It did not stop when I was down there looking. So that's another word to the wise. If you're going to buy near a retention pond, know where the pump houses are. And you can tell it's just a small brown block building, concrete building. And a lot of times they will make noise. And this one made a lot of noise. The prison is about a mile from my home as the crow flies. So that's like, yeah, I wouldn't be, again, where the prophet lives, I wouldn't be worried about the prison. I would be more worried about the prison if I was living in Oak Hollow, adjacent to Marsh Bend Trail. I wouldn't live there because of that. But in Oak Hollow, where the prophet is, I don't think not an issue because the chances of a prisoner escaping and choosing your home out of all those other homes that are in front of you, pretty small. Yeah, it was a pump, Craig. They told me it was a pump house, and it made a lot of noise. So even though you buy, like this neighbor here, let me see, this neighbor here who bought this paid $130,000 for his premium Waterview lot, did not realize that this pump house is going to be making noise, I think 24/7, and it was a loud noise. So I can guarantee you that whoever bought this house right here and all these homes in this area are not happy campers because of that pump house. So just be aware of your water view lots and your view lots. Know where your mechanicals are. Now looking at I'll bump it up to 74. If you're not there, why pay to cool it? I leave my home at 74 when I'm living there. And once you get used to the heat, 74 is going to be all you need. I know villagers who set their home temperatures to 78 degrees, and they live in it at 78 degrees because they are used to the temperature. Made noise 24/7, Vince. So just be careful of the view sites and the water sites, especially the water sites. They have to have mechanicals cleaning the water, pumping, whatever they're doing with it. And whoever bought those homes are now, I guarantee you, they're regretting it. I wouldn't even buy a home on this street here because I could hear the pump house. Right here, I was going to look at an interior lot. And this street here, I was looking at homes in here. Again, why was I looking at homes in there? You had the forest, no neighbors, no turnpike. And then I was worried about the turnpike noise here. And when I was standing in this neighborhood here, I could hear the turnpike. And when I stood in this neighborhood at 8 o'clock at night, I could really hear the turnpike. And the pump house and the turnpike dissuaded me from buying in this neighborhood. Somebody, because they don't want to pay the electric bill. Yeah, that's part of it. But once you get used to the heat, when it's 100 degrees outside and 105% humidity, and you walk into a home that's 72 degrees, it's like you freeze instantly. I found 74 to be actually comfortable for me to live in it. You like the intro music? Really? That is just generic music that I got from Filmora, which is my video editing software. It's one of the few pieces of music that came with my editing software that's not copyrighted by YouTube. So I keep using it. I appreciate it, though. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And a couple of years ago, they had wild hogs, pigs, running around. And there was a video, and where was the wild pigs were, I think, running right on here, Morse Boulevard, somewhere in here. There was a news article, wild hogs, like 6 or 8 or 10 wild hogs running up and down Morse Boulevard. You had villagers parked there taking pictures. You had animal control there trying to round up wild hogs near, I forgot what was this, rec center. I forgot what's it called. Avery, next to the Avery Rec Center, somewhere in here. Wild hogs come walking out of the woods, and there's a lot of wild hogs in the southern part of the United States. We don't have them in Wisconsin. So when I see a wild pig on the road, I'm kind of freaked out. And I saw that news article. So there are things in this preserve that will shake, rattle, and roll. Still do. We've been acclimating since the summer. We've been keeping our thumbs up. I think you're moving at a good time of the year, Prophet, actually. You're moving during the cold season. So you're going to be in Florida in November. And then as it warms up in January, February, March, it's going to get warm. You're going to actually start getting used to it better. You're moving at a good time. You don't want to move in like June because you're going to have immediate heat and you might not, near Chitty Chatty. And you might not get used to it. So I recommend you move in the fall or in the winter or in the early spring. So you have a few months to actually get acclimated, and as the temperature gradually increases, you'll get used to it. Near Chitty Chatty, there you go. Yeah. Wild pigs in Florida, for sure, in the villages. All right, I've been talking for an hour and a half. Is everybody sick of watching my ugly face and listening to my crackly voice? Raise your hand. We'll do the live stream again next week, approximately the same time. By May, you'll be shirtless in the golf car. Yeah, even on some years, even in April, for sure. I completed my preview visit, played golf, stayed in a Topaz. Well, I am caught up between us. So I am extremely picky. Yeah, I'm extremely picky too. And if you fall into my issue, you just kind of freeze and you see homes and then you look for reasons not to buy it. And then 6 months later, you kick yourself and say, oh, I wish I would have bought that home in Bradford because I could turn it around and made a lot of money on it. All right, friends, I'm going to end the live. It's been an hour and 25 minutes of awesomeness. I'll go live again next week. I'll try to go live a little bit earlier. I actually forgot. And then I had tropical depression warnings. So next week around 7 p.m. Sunday night, Florida time, try to go live. Peace out, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for sharing. Take care.